What's going on, guys? So in this video I'm going to show you guys how to speed up or repair a knife that could be sticky from the factory. This is going to work for switchblades as well as the spring assisted knives. This one's a spring assisted one, and I'm going to show you guys how to speed these things up, make them work properly without actually using any tools. So you can tell this knife here, it won't pop out that well, right? It's having its issues. This one's a brand new one. Actually came like that from the factory. Oftentimes they do. Sometimes it could be that somebody over tightens these pivot bolts here, which is another way to adjust knives, and we have another video for that. But this one I'm going to focus on just using no tools, household items, and let's get on with it. This should be near free stuff that you guys have all around. Again, please be safe when you're doing these things. I'll show you guys as safe as it can be. It's a knife, so you can cut yourself. And again, I can't stress enough, just please be careful and know what you're doing, and don't take any chances that aren't worth taking. So here we go. All right, so here's the tools that I'm going to use. I got this thick rag. You can tell it is a little dirty. You can tell I've used this one before, and if that's not good enough, and I'm going to do both of these, good old WD-40. So you got those two items here. I'm going to show you down on my desk, and you're going to see I'm going to bring this knife back to, I'm going to bring it back alive with just a simple cloth and some WD-40. And this thing's going to be clicking out like you wouldn't believe. All right, let's do it. Okay, so you can see here's my tools again. I got the rag. I got the WD-40 specifically with this kind of a spray nozzle, the flex reach one, because I'm going to be able to direct it right there in that pivot and make this thing target it instead of getting oil everywhere. It's just a little bit easier to do. Doesn't matter what kind of WD-40, like they have all these different kinds now, special blah blah, just whichever kind you have, it's going to work. Okay, let me set this camera up. Let me get this gimbal situated so I can, without any further ado, let's get this thing rolling. Okay, so here we go. You'll notice that, like I showed earlier, it's got some issues when it's, trying to flick it out and things like that. All right, so the key to this one is before you start, lock it, right? Just push it out if you have to, get in there and make sure that your liner lock, whatever type of lock you have, it does work on switchblades, button locks, everything. Basically, you don't want the blade to move, right, back and forth. And the reason why is because we're gonna take this thick rag, I'm gonna double it over like this. I'm going to put it over the top of the blade, like so, right? With the blade edge facing still away from my hand, right? But I'm grabbing it with the, does that make sense here? So blade away from my hand, grabbing it, again, be super safe here. I'm grabbing it with this thick towel. You see I folded it over. I mean, it's super thick in there, you can't see it. And this is what I do. I just wiggle it like this, right? And what I'm doing is I'm loosening that joint. And that's usually the case with these knives. Sometimes they just get stuck. So I'm loosening that joint, and that is what's going to make this thing start clicking up and working. And they probably laugh, so here we go. After that, you can watch this. This thing springs out like perfect now. I mean, that's just from doing that, right? So now if I really want to give it a good touch, I want to take this thing to the whole next level here. See, that one caught a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this WD-40 and I'm going to get to work on this. So here we go. Let's do that. Shake it up a little bit, get my desk dirty. This thing had some left in it. I'll usually do this outside, but this time I'm gonna do it right here just because it's easier sitting down. See if I can make it, see there, right in the inside. And I'm gonna give it a little squirt. There we go. That actually was probably too much of a squirt. Here we go. I'll take this, I usually turn it upside down on the same rag that I used, which is why this rag's dirty, right? And I'm gonna kind of just get some of that excess oil out. And this is good for knife maintenance anyways, just oil in general. All right, let's see now. Let's look at this, let's look at that. And you can tell this thing's like, this thing's like near perfect now. If not perfect. It flips out really good. This is how I like to have, all the spring assisted knives that we sell, as well as switchblades. So they're so easy to adjust, and a lot of times from the factory, they just come super tight, and that, is an actual problem. So as you could tell, this thing's all fixed up now. All right, so as you can see now, I mean, this thing is ready to go. Like, this thing flips out perfect. It actually has a little bit more of a shine to it because of the WD-40. You know, if you like the WD-40 smell, it gives that a little bit, but you know, a little bit of smell too. I kind of like it. But this here, you know, the easy way, usually you don't even have to use WD-40, and I can't stress that again much, you know, more again. You just put the knife in the rag, you know, you just wiggle it around like that, right? Make sure you're using your, you know, double dipping it over and keeping your hands safe, right? Because, you know, obviously, you know, it's a knife, it can cut you and all that good stuff. So like that, and then you'll see, you know, you're gonna see like a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, you can fix knives like that without WD-40. But if you want it to go a step further, you know, or oftentimes if you're not comfortable with holding the knife like that and put it inside of a rag, the WD-40 will also work, you know, by itself as well. So I tend to just do quickly, you know, wiggle it around inside the cloth. Then I'll give it a little dab of, you know, WD-40 if I still need to, and that's just the way that I do it. But either way, it works great. Both work good together, and you know, you got to maintenance your knives anyways. So oiling that pivot joint is probably the main, if not only, thing that you really need to maintenance, besides making sure that, you know, these bolts are, you know, snugged up, and you know, obviously you don't want the blade coming loose and everything. All right, so that's our tip for this video, and just be careful, you know, when you're out there. Just, you know, it's a knife. Again, I was reluctant to even show this because, you know, it can be dangerous. A thick rag, the thicker the better. You want to make sure that the sharp part of the blade is pointing away from you when you do this, when you're wiggling it, right? So when you open it up, as the last time there, you know, that part up, this comes in like that, right? And then you just wiggle it around, and then you're going to be good to go. Then you got the WD-40, that's self-explanatory. And again, you're going to put the WD-40 right on the pivot joint, right in there. You can kind of see that nylon, see that white bush in that little bush in there. Switchblades are the same. Most switchblades, I should say. Out the front's a little different, a lot different than that. But this will work with regular switchblades. And you just, you know, you're going to put the WD-40 right in there. Really, you're just going to, a tiny little squirt. That thing's going to be, yeah, night and day for all you guys out there. And last but not least, there are every now, maybe, you know, 1 out of 100 knives, this trick won't loosen it up. It won't do good enough, and you have to actually get the Torx bit here, and you got to start turning these screws a little bit to loosen up that pivot joint. Sometimes I just clamp it down from the factory too tight, and this trick won't work, though most of the time it does, as I'm saying. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and until the next time, thanks for shopping with us. Really appreciate you guys, and enjoy your knife.